Myth number 1. Complete the Pokédex and a Game Freak developer in Celadon City gives you a diploma. This actually sounds believable. It feels like something Pokémon FireRed would do. But let's test it. From what I know, the Game Freak team is somewhere in this building. I think the 3rd floor? Alright, yep, there they are. Let's talk to the first guy.
Wow, excellent! You completed your Pokédex. Congratulations!
Wait, hold up. No way this is actually real. They literally gave me a diploma. That's insane. Can I put this on my resume or something? Anyway, this myth is confirmed. In the Safari Zone, repeatedly turning your character without moving can trigger wild encounters without using up your remaining steps. Alright, I'm here in the Safari Zone. Right now I've got 599 steps left. And just so you know, you get kicked out after 600 steps. So if this number goes down, the myth is instantly busted. Let's walk a few steps. Alright, 594 left. Now all we need is an encounter. Wild Pokemon appears. Okay, moment of truth. Did the counter go down? Wait, it's still at 594. No way! Let's try it again just to make sure it wasn't some weird fluke. Another encounter. Checking the step counter, still 594. That's actually crazy. The encounter happened, but the game didn't count any extra steps. Looks like this myth is confirmed. You can duplicate any item in Pokémon FireRed and Leaf Green using a hidden mail glitch. Okay, this one actually works, guys. You can literally duplicate almost anything in the game. So here's what you gotta do. First, trade your Spearow for Farfetch'd and trade your Abra for Mr. Mime. Then, teach Mr. Mime a move called Recycle, and make sure Farfetch'd knows Knockoff. After that, head over to Celadon City and buy 10 retro mails. You'll also need some berries. Now keep only 3 Pokemon in your party: Farfetch'd, Mr. Mime, and any random 3rd Pokemon. Give a berry to the 3rd Pokemon. It can be any berry. Then, give the retro mail to Mr. Mime. Now arrange your party so the random Pokemon is in the 2nd slot, and Farfetch'd is in the 1st slot, so those 2 come out together in battle. Then, go find a double battle. Once you're in a battle, wait for the random Pokemon to consume its berry. As soon as the berry gets consumed, make Farfetch'd use Knockoff, and switch the random Pokemon into Mr. Mime. So now, Farfetch'd is going to knock off the retro mail from Mr. Mime. After that, use any random move with Farfetch'd and use Recycle with Mr. Mime. If everything is done correctly, Mr. Mime should get the retro mail back. Now you can either win the battle, lose the battle, get knocked out. It honestly doesn't matter. After the battle, put all 6 Pokemon back into your party. Then give retro mail to any 5 Pokemon. Remember when the game asked me to choose a Pokemon earlier? I chose Abra, so I'm selecting that same option again. Now for the item duplication. In my case, I want to duplicate Master Balls. Right now, I have 3 Master Balls. I'll give 1 Master Ball to Onyx, so it's holding on to it. As you can see, there are now only 2 Master Balls left in my bag. Now watch this. I'm going to take a retro mail and try giving it to Onyx. The game says Onyx is already holding a Master Ball and asks if I want to switch the items. I'm pressing yes. And now these weird question marks show up. Don't do anything special here, just press OK. Then back out. Now look at this. Somehow I have 3 Master Balls again. But here's the crazy part. If I go into my Pokemon and take the item, I'll get the Master Ball back from Onyx. Ta-da! The Master Ball is still in Onyx's hands, and the bag count just went up to 4. We literally duplicated a Master Ball. And the best part is you can keep doing this over and over and over again with other items too. The person who discovered this is an absolute genius. And with this, myth confirmed. If you go back and talk to Giovanni after defeating his gym, then use the item finder where he was standing, you'll discover a hidden item. Alright, for the next myth, I've already beaten the Elite Four, and apparently if you come back to Viridian Gym afterwards, something special happens at Giovanni's old spot. So I'm here for the 2nd time. Let's talk to Giovanni. And yep, after talking to him, he leaves the gym. Now the myth says there's supposed to be a hidden item where he used to stand. So let's head over there and pull out the item finder. Alright, using it now. Wait, the item finder is going crazy. Hold up, that's actually real. There's a hidden Macho Brace sitting right where Giovanni used to be after he leaves the gym. I honestly thought this was one of those random playground rumors, but nope, myth confirmed. Does the TV in your house show different programs depending on whether you play as a boy or a girl? Alright, let's test this one. Apparently the movie shown on the TV changes depending on whether you're playing as a boy or a girl. So first, I'm checking it as a male character. let's see what we've got.
4 boys are walking on the railroad tracks.
All right, that's our movie. Now let's load up the game as a female character and check the exact same TV. And, hold on, that's actually different. It's basically the same kind of scene, but the game swaps the character to match the gender you're playing as. Pretty small detail, but it's a neat one. With that, another myth confirmed. Sleeping a Pokemon makes it easier to catch. I've played this game for years, and somehow I've never actually tried this myth. So let's put this to the test against something that's actually difficult to catch. I'm heading into Cerulean Cave and looking for a high-level Pokemon. Alright, we've got a level 49 Magneton. Not bad. It goes for Spark. That barely did anything. Alright, let's put it to sleep. Sleep powder! And it's asleep. Perfect. Now, if this myth is true, catching it should be a lot easier. Let's use a regular Pokeball. Come on. One shake. And nope. Alright, maybe that one was bad luck. Let's try another one. Come on. Come on. Nope. Still broke out. That's our first myth busted. You can see Articuno through binoculars on the second floor of the building east of Fuchsia City. Alright, let's test this one. So I'm heading up to the second floor. There are 2 binoculars here. Let's check the first one. A small island can be seen in the distance. Alright, nothing too crazy there. Now let's check the second one. Wait a minute. A large shining bird is flying toward the sea. That's literally where Articuno is found, and it's Articuno. Let's go! That's actually a pretty cool detail. Myth confirmed. If you stand in Pallet Town for 10 real minutes without moving, Professor Oak comes out and talks to you. Okay, so I'm here standing in Pallet Town, and apparently if you wait long enough, Professor Oak comes out and he talks to you. So I'm just gonna stand here and see what happens. Alright guys, it's been 10 minutes. And nothing. Professor Oak didn't come out to us. So this myth is busted. If you use Splash exactly 100 times in one battle, the game gives you a secret item. Sounds ridiculous, but we're testing it anyway. So I found a trainer here and he has 4 Pokemon, which is perfect for this myth. I've got this Mewtwo with me, so let's get rid of his first Pokemon because I don't think we'll need all 4 for this test. 3 should be more than enough. Alright, now it's Magikarp time. I've got around 64 PP worth of Splash ready. And I've also got max elixirs, so we're going all the way. There's Splash number 1, number 2, number 3, and after way too many turns later, this is Splash number 100. Nothing really changed, and nothing happened to be fair. We didn't get any secret event, evolution, or bonus effect either. It was just 100 splashes for absolutely no reason. So, myth busted. While in Pewter City, the player can head over to the Pewter City Museum. A nearby NPC will mention July 20th, 1969, and mankind walking on the moon, a reference to the actual moon landing. Alright, here's the museum. I bought the ticket, and I think the NPC we're looking for is upstairs. Yep, right here. Let's see what he says. And yep, that's the exact day humans first landed on the moon. That's a really cool little detail. They could have just made up a random date, but instead they referenced a real historical event. This game is honestly so unique, and it's one of my favorites for a reason. Another myth confirmed. You can get unlimited nuggets from the Nugget Bridge Rocket Guy by repeatedly losing to him. After deleting everyone on Nugget Bridge, I got to this guy right here. He gives you a nugget for beating all 5 trainers. Pretty normal so far. Now he's gonna ask if I want to join Team Rocket. Obviously, we have no option. And he'll challenge us to a battle. So I purposely brought this low-level Pidgey I literally just caught. Let's get destroyed. And there we go. Straight to the Pokemon Center. Alright, we're healed up. Now, let's head back out and see if this actually works. Moment of truth. Talking to him again. Wait, no way. He gave me another nugget. You see that? He actually gave me a second one, which means you can keep selling these for money. That's how you nugget farm, people. And for an early game player, that's a pretty nice way to get rich. So yeah, myth confirmed. Lorelei secretly has Pokemon dolls hidden in her room. That's actually true. Lorelei does have Pokemon dolls in her house on 4 Island. Some fans have even speculated that the number of dolls changes depending on how many times you've entered the Hall of Fame, making it a popular Pokemon rumor for years. You can catch Mewtwo with a regular Pokeball at full health. Alright, so here we are in front of Mewtwo, and I've got 200 Pokeballs ready to go. It sure sounds painful, but let's find out. Here goes the first Pokeball. Was never expecting to get it in the first try. Now we're speeding things up. Way too many Pokeballs being thrown. At this point, Mewtwo has been breaking out over and over again. And after enough turns, he actually ran out of PP, which means he can't use any of his normal attacks anymore. He's stuck using Struggle. So technically this myth is already busted 50% because Mewtwo isn't really at full HP anymore. But let's keep going. More Pokeballs, and then, on the 87th Pokeball, we finally caught it. We actually caught Mewtwo with a regular Pokeball. But here's the thing, it wasn't at full health anymore. By the time it got caught, it had already been using Struggle and taking recoil damage. So yes, a regular Pokeball can catch Mewtwo, but not under the exact conditions the myth claims. So I'm calling this one 50-50, but since the full health part didn't hold up, it's myth busted. Wild Paris and Mount Moon can be stolen from using Thief to get free mushrooms. Alright, so I'm here at Mount Moon. We're testing a pretty interesting myth. Apparently, Wild Paris can be holding tiny mushrooms, and sometimes even big mushrooms. There's a Paris right here. Let's use Thief and see if this actually is true. And wait, yup, it was holding a tiny mushroom. So that's already one part of the myth confirmed. But the myth also says you can get big mushrooms from them, which are supposed to be much rarer. So I'm gonna keep hunting and see if we can find one. Several Parises later and several tiny mushrooms later, we actually got a big mushroom. So Parises can hold both tiny mushrooms and big mushrooms. This myth is actually true, guys. Myth confirmed. And if you're loving these myth-busting videos, make sure to subscribe because we've got plenty more to test, and we're gonna do it with lots of different games. The next game is Half-Life. Ditto copies everything, including HP, when he transforms. That's not true. Ditto copies a Pokemon's appearance, typing, moves, and most of its stats, but it always keeps its own HP. Even after transforming into a powerful Pokemon, its HP never changes, as you can see here as I try. So this is definitely a myth bust. The secret passwords to Team Rocket's warehouse are actually hidden palindromes. For those who don't know, a palindrome is a word or phrase that reads the same forwards and backwards, such as race car or madam. To test this myth, we've collected the 2 passwords needed to enter Team Rocket's warehouse on 5 Island. First, this scientist tells us password is yes, nah, chancy. And yes, if you read this backward, it's the same. That's crazy. And second is Goldeen need log, which also, if read backwards, means the same. Goldeen need log. Amazing. I bet you all didn't know about this. So myth confirmed. Using the item finder where Snorlax was sleeping reveals a hidden item. Alright, we're at Route 12 for this one. Apparently there's supposed to be a hidden item around here. So let's pull out the item finder. Using it... nothing. Let's move a step ahead. Alright, trying again. Oh wait! The item finder is shaking! We've got something this time. Let's see what's buried here. And... it's just some leftovers. Still pretty nice though. Myth confirmed. The Pokemon Fan Club chairman gives you more than just the bike voucher. Here we are at his house. Let's see if this myth is actually true. Let's talk to him.
Hello, Ash. Did you come here to see my Pokemon again? No, that's too bad.
Wait, what? That's it? He didn't give me anything. I came all the way here for that? Yeah, looks like this one was completely made up. Myth busted. If you black out to Giovanni, he says completely different dialogue. So we're here in front of Giovanni, and we're testing whether he says anything special if you lose to him. So let's purposely lose this battle. Dude, just knock us out already. I don't know why he's taking so long, but after a couple of back and forths, he finally defeats me, and we white out. And, like we figured, he doesn't say anything. No special dialogue, no secret message, nothing at all. So the whole losing dialogue myth is busted. Gary's team actually changes depending on which starter you picked. True, your rival always chooses the starter with a type advantage over yours, and several members of his team change throughout the game as a result. Pick Bulbasaur, and it will be these. Pick Charmander, it'll be these. And if you choose Squirtle, it'll be these guys. And you'll end up facing a different final team when you battle him as a champion. And he'll always have the upper hand. So yeah, myth confirmed. There's a secret item buried on the exact tile where you start the game. So this is the exact spot where we stand at the very start of the game. Now let's pull out the item finder and check. Using it now. And nope, nothing. Maybe we're standing at the wrong tile. Let's take a step back and try again. Still nothing. Looks like this rumor was made up. Another myth busted. The old man in Viridian City who teaches you to catch Pokemon has a completely different lesson if you talk to him after beating the Elite Four. So I just got out after getting in the Hall of Fame, and I'm flying straight to Viridian City, because apparently the old man is supposed to have some new lesson after you become a champion. There's the old guy right there. Let's see what he says.
Is my old Teachy TV helping you?
That's it? That's literally all he says? Nothing new at all. So it's myth busted. Gengar can learn every single ghost move in the game. Gengar can learn many ghost-type moves in FireRed, including Lick, Spite, Curse, Nightshade, Shadow Punch, Confuse Ray, Destiny Bond, Shadow Ball, and Nightmare. But it does not learn every ghost move that exists in the game. For example, in Generation 3, ghost-type moves such as Astonish and Grudge are ghost moves that Gengar cannot normally learn, so definitely myth busted. Electrode can explode and take out Mewtwo. We're here in front of Mewtwo, and to test this myth, we're using Explosion. Electrode goes down first, and now Mewtwo's HP bar is dropping. It's still dropping. And there it is! Mewtwo faints as well. Myth confirmed. Electrode can actually take down Mewtwo with a single explosion if it deals enough damage. If you collect every free coin in the game corner, then sit at the slot machine 3 spots above the old man, play until you hit jackpot, leave that machine, move to the machine directly below it, and repeat the process, you can consistently win enough coins to buy every prized corner Pokemon and item. So we're here at the game corner, and according to this myth, after collecting every coin hidden on the floor and getting all the free coins from NPCs, you need to just sit 3 machines ahead of the old man, basically the first machine in this row. Let's give it a try. Alright, we're spinning, and after a couple minutes and a lot of spins, we finally hit a 777 jackpot. Now the myth says to move to the machine directly below it, so that's exactly what we're doing. Let's see if this one is lucky too. And there it is, another jackpot! This time it took even fewer spins than the previous machine. Now for the final test. Let's head back to the first machine and see if the pattern continues. Spinning, spinning, and yup, we hit another jackpot. Myth confirmed. Following this machine pattern did consistently lead to multiple jackpots during our test. The Magikarp you can buy for 500 Pokédollars is secretly a different Magikarp with better stats than any you can catch. So I already have this level 5 Magikarp, and its stats are 6, 9, 7, 7, and 14. Nothing too special. Now let's head inside and buy the famous Magikarp from the salesman. Alright, here we go. Let's check its stats. 7, 9, 6, 8, and 14. Wait a second. That's barely any different. Some stats are actually lower, and some are only 1 point higher. Overall, it's not the huge boost that the myth claims. So after comparing both level 5 Magikarp side by side, there's no evidence that the purchased Magikarp has significantly better stats. Myth busted. The Fame Checker contains hidden dialogue and lore about major characters. Okay, let's take a look. Opening the Fame Checker, we can view profiles for major characters like gym leaders, Elite Four members, and other important NPCs. As we collect more information throughout our journey, new entries and quotes are added, revealing extra details about their personalities, relationships, hobbies, and backgrounds that aren't mentioned during normal gameplay. There are actually quite a few unique pieces of dialogue here that you wouldn't see otherwise. Myth confirmed! The Fame Checker does contain hidden dialogue and additional lore about many of FireRed and Leaf Green's major characters. Berries respawn in the Berry Forest after 1,500 steps. So we're here at Berry Forest, and according to this myth, berries are supposed to respawn after 1,500 steps. Let's test it. We'll start by picking up every berry we can find. Here's the first one, a raspberry. Now to accurately count our steps, we're going to use max repels. Each max repel lasts for 250 steps, so we'll need to go through 6 of them to reach exactly 1,500 steps. After a lot of walking and 6 max repels later, we finally hit the 1,500 step mark. So let's head back to where the berries were and see if anything has changed. And there it is! A berry has respawned! Looks like the rumor was right after all. Myth confirmed! Berries in Berry Forest do respawn after enough steps have been taken. After defeating the Elite Four, the 2 Snorlax return to the exact spots where they were sleeping. You can see we're here at the Hall of Fame, and according to this myth, after entering the Hall of Fame, Snorlax is supposed to appear on either Route 12 or Route 16. Let's go check. First, we're flying over to Route 12, and nope, he's not here. Maybe he's on Route 16. Let's see if we can find him there. And nothing. He's not here either. After checking both locations and finding absolutely no sign of him, there's only one conclusion. Myth busted. And here's our final myth. Does subscribing actually increase your shiny luck? Well, there's only one way to find out. Hit that subscribe button and let's test it together.